Hey,
Hey
hey!
everyone. Oh my God, I'm trapped in here with a bug. Hey everyone. Gamer Dan is back in the house. How's it going, my man?
Yeah, good, good. On personal note, went out for a birthday last night and got smashed, just smashed. Good times. But I'm a
Fantastic.
little hungover. Suppose it's going to be a short one this week. But we have to talk about the Switch too. We've
Yeah.
talked a lot about speculation. Gotten very excited. We got on the hype train when people were talking about showing off the reveal. But slowly but surely, we've seen more and more. Oh, it's just more and more. I don't want to say mistakes because a mistake is something that was done in error. These are poor decisions
Yeah.
from Nintendo, and I am concerned. So,
Mhm. I mean, it's funny because it's quite the elephant in the room. Bowser's behind this, people. But anyway,
yeah. Seriously, I don't know why we don't see more memes about this. About they let Bowser into Nintendo's head office, and now look at what's happening. Duh. But
but yeah,
I want to joke, but it's just not funny. You know, this is
mm, it's true. Yeah, I mean, one thing you mentioned before, the whole last week, I think, no, I mean, 2 weeks ago, the last video, people, Gamer Dan and I were talking. Gamer Dan mentioned that Xbox wants to turn their system into the Netflix of gaming with Steam collaborating and what have you. And then
yes.
I said it would effectively make Nintendo the Disney Plus of gaming in that
Hmm.
they're very much
Yeah.
in-house and closed off.
Yes,
And
but they've got an enormous treasure trove of classic IPs, of classic
mm,
games, and characters that we want to play with. And I think I'm angry that the initial pricing was so high, but I had no illusions that it wasn't going to sell out. This is the Switch 2. It's going to have the games that people want to play. People have been playing these games for a long time. People are, of course, going to want to play the new ones. I mean, I want to play Metroid Prime 4. Damn it. I mean, on this channel alone, I've been salivating, actively salivating over watching the videos, just so, it's a good thing that you can see me from the head up. If you look down, this would be a different kind of channel. But, but it is frustrating because they know that they have a chokehold over a whole portion of the industry. Like a
right.
whole section of gaming is literally just like their garden, their IPs, and they have control of it. But now they are actively making decisions that are run counter to the company's old ethos, the old guard. I keep referring to the old guard, like the old heads of it. Like cast your mind back. Our knees didn't click. We had hope in our dreams. We had future ahead of us, and the Wii was riding high. Everyone loved the Wii. It was a smash success. I know it was just so pick up and play. It was so accessible to allow people to play kind of motion games that everyone's granny got in on it. Nintendo tried to keep that joy going with the Wii U, but they didn't market it well. They didn't know, nobody knew what the hell they were buying. Was it another Wii? Was it a new console? What was with this giant ass controller? Is it a tablet? What can you do with it? Didn't know. We bought it. No, it's not Wii. It is a brand new beast, and the kind of the trenders, the people who were chasing the trend, moved on to the next trend. And so all that the company had were the old gamers. So they started putting out really good quality games for it, but the device itself was awful. The Wii U was not good, and that's largely because of the controller.
Right.
But the people were saying, "Oh, it's the end of Nintendo. It's the end of Nintendo," because nobody was buying this thing, and they were losing money hand over fist. They couldn't get anything on it. Um,
Mm,
so what happened? The management took a pay cut. Management actively cut their pay to keep the people working at Nintendo with regular paychecks because they said they didn't want to lose out short-term gains to ruin the corporate culture, to ruin the motivation of their staff. It was staff that was going to get them through this.
mm,
And thank you, sirs, showing us the way. That's how it's supposed to be done. If the company's
mm.
struggling, it's the captain who goes down with the ship. But they did. What happened next? like a phoenix. We got the Switch. They took all the lessons they learned from before, and man, they just lightning in a bottle. They captured the quintessential essence of what made Nintendo possible, and what kept them afloat during that time was not the Wii U. It was them portable gaming systems. It was the 3DS. It was people still playing the DS. Their portability, the Game Boys have been a mainstay for a very long time. So they just lent into that and just went, yo, let's just have a whole console be portable. Genius! And it literally it has changed the industry from now on because along after that, boom, Steam Deck comes along like, yo, this is the right thing to do. And we've got the portable gaming environment now is enormous. We have portable gaming PCs. We have we've got things like the INO Odin, which is a device that could play up to PlayStation 3 games, but portable. I mean, like, what? It plays everything. Portable, comfortable. Oh man, it is. Everyone. There are a lot more players in the market. The big three: Nintendo, Sony, and hell, even Xbox and and Sony, Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony have both said that they are releasing portable consoles in the next generation. They're both flirting with this
Because of how Switch
because
just
because successful is because
exactly.
this is portability is now like this is a thing people want. People are willing to pay for portability, like being able to play your game anywhere. Yes,
Exact, bro.
please.
Oh my word.
So, well
Mm,
done, well done. But during this time, we have seen it's been a long console generation. I think it's
mm,
possibly because they're trying to figure out which direction to go. Do they just go like switch to like an upgraded version of the Switch? Is what we wanted. We wanted a Switch Pro. There's just like a stronger version of the Switch so we could play the games a little better because as portable as it was, as great as it wasn't powerful device.
yeah,
And some of the
exactly.
games really pushed it. So it's just something that could play those games a little better was all we wanted. But that's what they went to Switch 2 with. Fine. But they're making this business decisions that are more in keeping with the other big companies.
Right.
They are charging more. They are taking controllership of ownership of
Oh
IP
yeah, bloody
on a
ownership.
level that I just don't agree with. Yeah, the Switch
Mm.
had I purchased the Devil May Cry trilogy on the Switch in Japan, the Japanese version. The first game it was on the cartridge, it was on the physical medium. But in the box was a little leaflet that gave me a code that I could use to download, they'll add those games to my account. So I bought the trilogy, but all I got was the first game physically, which is what I wanted.
Okay.
I I am a physical gamer. I prefer having my games physically. That said, I do use Steam because it's really, really cheap. It's convenient and it's cheap to buy lots of really, really good games. So given the choice, I would choose a physical device because it's more comforting. This is mine. I own it. But that's a classic version of ownership. The company sells a product. I buy the product. It's mine. I own it. But now for the last 10, 15 years, we have seen companies chipping away at this idea of a license. You don't own a product. You own a license to use said product, which means you can't change that product. You can't sell that product. You can't do anything with that product because you don't own it. You own the ability to use it. And I hated that. I hated that. Such passion. Like, it, I, if I buy a game, I want the ability to mod it. I think
Mm.
that's within my right. If I want to add flame decals to my school book because I want my writing to go faster, yo, that's my right. If I want to change the color of my car, you take it to a shop and I change the color of my damn car. It's my damn car. I'll change whatever I want to it. I want to add the 16 cup holders. Screw you. That's my prerogative. But gaming, and I guess for movies and TV as well. Companies have said, no, you don't own these things. We own them. We're letting you use them for a
The
fee.
currency,
Yeah,
for
and
yeah.
it is crazy how far they have gone. Like, especially as modding has brought so much. joy to the field. Like gaming specifically, we've had so many games that needed modders, like people outside of the company fixing bugs within them.
Oh,
Like,
please, yeah. Maybe check out
but
Guru Larry. This, oh my God,
yeah,
sometimes
I mean,
get
Guerrero's got a whole
companies
bunch
that
of.
brick their own.
Yeah, they brick their own the game. They released their game in an unfinished state, but people who love those games, who love these companies, will step in and work on it. I mean, famously Bethesda.
Yeah,
Bethesda's
exactly.
games
I just
were
thinking,
darlings, were industry darlings, but they were broken, man, by any other metric. These things were held together with bubblegum and blue tack. It was like, what? You know, you
so.
sneezed in the game and the whole thing started falling apart like a house of cards. But people loved them. They were great. I mean, who
Hmm.
hasn't seen a I got shot in the knee with by an arrow meme? You know? So modders stepped in and started fixing patches. They started adding patches, adding things. And over the years, you know, Bethesda's games have needed all of these. So when they started trying to monetize them with their own creation club, like trying to bring these modders, at least the mods and additions in house, it was like, yo, that's and charging people for them? No, 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 no. And then people who take the assets of one game and start making their own fan games. Sega was watching all of the Sonic fan games and going, these people are pretty talented. They brought them in and they gave us Sonic Mania, for God's sake. Sonic Mania is like the head of Sonic Mania was a fan game creator.
It's
I mean, like that is just a wealth of people who actively love gaming, and they want to be involved in it, and they want to create crazy, weird, wonderful games. And the back before the indie scene was so robust, before it was there were direct avenues into the industry where you could monetize your game. Like before Steam was as prevalent as it was harder to get a game up for sale. So people modded these things, people made hacks, and there's still people doing this to this day. But what Nintendo's doing, taking ownership of the IP and just making their game cards just code. Like if I buy a game, I get a card. That card is a code that allows me to use the game, which means it's harder for me to sell it. It's harder for me to do anything with it because I don't own it. And I thought that was a really shitty thing to do, but I got it. Okay, fine. You don't want people sharing your games. Everyone has to have their own. Netflix did the same thing. I have a Netflix account, and a bunch of my family used my account. Now they can't because Netflix changed the code, and then anyone who tries to log in at a different IP than the primary location, no, you pay for a house at this point. If I use multiple devices in that house, that's okay. But if it's a different house, no, they won't let me. I have to change the primary house. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing
Dude, I see what you're saying. I mean, of course I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's interesting, like saying that this is a standard that is prevalent across a variety of big tech companies right now. And on one hand, I can
that.
say, hey,
Nintendo's falling for it. Nintendo's going the same way, and
yeah, exactly. So here's the deal. I mean, I have to, as my wife always encouraged me to do, is see things from different angles. Maybe from their vantage point, there's something coming down the pipeline whereby if they don't try and control uh, IP usage and what have you, or access to their platforms in such a way that something will get out of hand, especially with the advent of AI. I mean, I don't, I don't put so much stock in AI. I know I know it's smart, but the thing is, the AI that we have in ChatGPT these days, OpenAI, it makes people feel that AI is a lot more accessible. Many George Bush can get into it, but games, as you always brought out to our audience, is dealing with AI before GPT, and so they know what AI is. These people, they really thought about this well and hard. So what's going on now is we're dealing with a world where people now, again, the reason I brought up AI is because you may have smarter ways for people to rip off the company, so to speak, and I'm speaking. So they're thinking we need to get ahead of this as much as possible. It will seem like overreach right now, but if we don't, then we'll have no reach.
mm,
So they're thinking, okay, I can kind of understand it, but you have to meet people halfway. So like I was saying last week, if Nintendo were smart like the Sonic team who listened to the audience and try to give opportunities to the enthusiasts or aficionados, they would bring people in financially. Like I said, Nintendo's also notorious for Damn bug. Sorry. Nintendo's also notorious for shutting down fan projects on crowdfunding sites and what have you. People,
Yes.
not just that, even YouTubers who just want to play their game. And I can sometimes tell just shut down one of my videos when I'm playing Mario or something. I'm like, damn it. But thankfully, I don't know why, but you're very lucky. But that never happens with you. I think because you do good commentary. But sometimes I just keep quiet for a while. That being said, um, if Nintendo were to say, hey, like I said, with the new chat feature, guess what? If you use this chat feature and stream your game, we will not shut you down on YouTube or something like that. It'll give people a way in to feel like, hey, Nintendo, they're actually providing us opportunity. Like I said, you have Netflix, you have
Mm,
Disney Plus, but you also have Amazon Prime, which is, for the odd show here and there. But you also have YouTube. And what YouTube is a way for people to actually earn money by offering their own videos, not just rent videos YouTube renting videos is like McDonald's giving Subway sandwiches. They see a new sandwich, a new restaurant doing well, and they want to capitalize on that new trend. But at the same time, their primary business is something else. So YouTube is supposed to be about us. If Nintendo could say, we're not just trying to monopolize everything because as any kid can probably tell them after a while, people won't want to play with you anymore. If you keep being all, this is my ball, I'm going home. But if you say to people, we want to open up opportunities. We don't just keep want to take. We're not just wanting to take money from you forever. We can share ad revenue with you because you're promoting our bloody thing by using it. We actually owe you a debt of gratitude. Then people would say, Nintendo, hey man, they're doing us a solid. If they do this, I think that it's going to be another. There's a danger of it being another Wii U, where people say, you know what? Not only was it. Not only was it another thing of what we already have, but now it's more trouble than it's worth because you're being dickheads. So we'll see. I mean, what do you think?
I think that's a really interesting point because Nintendo has been famously litigious with their IP, especially with fan games, mods, anyone doing anything that is outside of their sphere of control. Famously, there was a guy who created like Dr. N64, I think, something N64. But he created a fan game called AM2R. AM2R was another Metroid 2 remake, and it was a
Oh,
fan made project. It was a full remake of the famously simple Metroid 2, which was a Game Boy game, classic Game Boy, old green screen, very basic. But he had been working on this for years and years and years, and you can even see like as he went, the games got better quality because he got more people in on the project. Apologies, excuse me. But tragically, right at the end when he was about to release the game to the into the wild. Like, yeah, I've been working on this for years and years. I'm excited. People have been watching his development go. Yeah, this looks amazing. This is great. Nintendo announced that they were releasing their own Metroid 2 remake for the 3DS, and literally like a week after the guy released the game, years and years and years, the Nintendo stepped in and went, nope, shut it down, shut it down. We can't have you doing this. And people were livid because this was a fan made project. This was a high quality project, and it just got just stamped out by Nintendo because they had their own version coming out. But that's not how the internet works. The moment he put it on the internet, ban, it was in the wild and it's everywhere. Hell, I've got a copy of it on my portable thing. I ported it to it, and it is a good game, solid. I mean, it takes the story, it really fleshes it out. You can see that it's just a labor of love. But I still, but I also purchased the official the Metroid 2 remake because I wanted to support Nintendo. I wanted to play this game, and Nintendo just squashed the competition because it was their property. And they didn't want anyone overshadowing them, which I completely understand. Um, so it is possible that they are thinking not 4D chess, but they are looking at a bigger timeline than we are. Like we
mhm.
don't see the things coming down the pipeline, and Nintendo's position on kind of streaming their products. They have got a camera, like a built-in camera. It's a big part of the presentations on too. And if we can use that online, yeah, I think they might find a way to capitalize on it. But it does feel like, yo, it's not the way that Nintendo has been playing it recently. Like the way that they're playing is very, very bring it in house. They released an app, Nintendo Today, which is the official platform of how they release information. They're not announcing it to companies anymore or to magazines. The gaming landscape. They're releasing announcements on their own platform. They announced some new movies on their platform. Like they announced the second the new Legend of Zelda movie on their own new streaming platform. They've got their own theme parks. They've got their own movie studio. They're
Yeah,
bringing.
for goodness sake,
They
of
are do.
course,
They
of
are. They
course.
have been diversifying for a while. They're introducing Nintendo branded products. There's the Nintendo Alarmo. An alarm clock that's Nintendo themed that plays Nintendo tracks. There is the Nintendo Music
Yeah,
app,
yeah, yeah,
an
exactly.
in-house music app which has all Nintendo branded music, which means that they are trying to bring people in-house. Trying to bring a lot of access, a lot of things that people used to do all over the place under their control, under their bracket. Like use your Nintendo branded thing to use Nintendo themed thing. Go to Nintendo branded place if you want Nintendo entertainment. Go to the Nintendo branded product if you want the Nintendo games. You use the Nintendo branded app if you want the Nintendo branded music or information. They did it years ago. Years ago, they were the first company that left E3 and did it
Yes.
all online and had the Nintendo Treehouse. And it was basically the death bell, a death knell to E3 because instead of spending
Three.
money to go to someone else's event and introducing yourselves at E3, they were like, no, 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 we're just going to do a direct and we'll just go directly to the people. And I can absolutely see Nintendo Directs not being on YouTube in the future, but
Yeah,
being
yeah.
on a Nintendo app. Like you've
Wow,
got to go to
wow,
them to get their
bro,
direct, and
bro.
it feels
Oh
like
my
it
God.
is almost Orwellian in the level of control that they are expanding out to just kind of bring all of their stuff under their bracket in their place, so they have absolute control over the
Control,
narrative.
which can corrupt absolutely, as they say.
Well, I don't. For a lot of these things, I just see it as it's less. Whoa, I want to control everything, but more like, yo, how
Control
do
their
we
own.
monetize this? How do you make
Yeah,
money off of it?
you know, I
And
gotta
they
say,
are,
I took.
but the Switch was so successful, was just such staggeringly successful that Nintendo as a company is arguably the most successful company in Japan. Like
Yeah,
their entity makes more money than Toyota or Mitsubishi or Sony.
I
As a
think,
brand,
yeah,
they are just stupidly successful, and so they have been using that money to diversify. The Mario movie was a massive success. We've already been announced, well, we've been leaked. The new one, it's the Super Mario World. It's not Super Mario
yeah.
2. It's literally called Super Mario World. Which, oh god, oh god, oh god, we have to do a whole thing talking about that. But
Dude, I'm
we'll
gonna
put
be
a pin
here.
in it.
No way.
We'll
Yeah.
come back to it.
Yeah.
But they are they have been making moves that felt very, very dick swing, dick swingy. Like it feels like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, this is us. You've got to come to us to get our product. And as we said right at the beginning, we made the analogy before that Microsoft is trying to be Netflix. It's trying to have access to a big pool of
But that's
games that you
probably
can
it. Oh
use.
my God,
But
just
Nintendo is becoming Disney. They are
you are
going the way of
insightful.
theme parks. They are going the way of movies. They are going the way of
Yeah.
massive merchandise diversement. It's not just, they've already released a whole new run of Nintendo branded toys. We're talking massive action figures,
Goosebumps, people.
collectibles. It is, they are going the way of Disney because Disney has diversified using those initial IPs. Like they made
Mm-hmm.
movies and they used the back of those movies to build a brand. Nintendo has a
I,
brand, they've got their IPs, but now, just like Disney, they are aggressively holding on to those IPs because it's until they've fully diversified to a bunch of different ways, the IP control of the character is the bread and butter. If people start using their characters willy nilly in different ways,
that's it.
that's
This
that's
is
going to hurt. That's going to take the brand. It's like, how aggressively did Disney fought for years and years and years to extend the copyright license of when a character enters the public domain. They literally call it
Mhm.
the Mickey Mouse law. They added decades and decades to it. It used to be like, after the creator dies, you've got 20, 30 years, then the character hits the public domain because you have to allow characters to enter the public domain. You can't keep them indefinitely. Now it's 75 years after the dude dies. He gets an entire life span, and then 2 generations later, it enters the public domain. And even now, they're still trying to fight that. They're still trying to extend it. Like, yo, you can't have Mickey Mouse. You can't have Mickey Mouse. But it's going to happen. Early Mickey, Steamboat Willie Mickey is in the public domain. It's not long before Batman and Superman hit the domain. But they've changed the rules. They've said that different incarnations have different lifespans. So we can't use Mickey in any shape or form. You can only use the Mickey Mouse
Steamboat.
and the old Steamboat Willie style Mickey. And to
Mm.
get around that, what have they done? They started using Steamboat Mickey in their trademark. When you see Nintendo animation, who's the character on the screen? Boom, Steamboat Mickey. Meaning that if you try and use that character, they can argue it's copyright infringement.
Hilarious, bro. This you're super insightful. I mean, and yeah, I didn't realize just how much we can glean from the comparison to Disney. Now, here's the thing: what I respect more about Nintendo over Disney over is there's as much as they're monopolistic, they are more. They're more. I think they have more integrity with their IPs. So far, at least, what I'm trying to say is Disney is spread out. It got Marvel, it got all these other IPs and what have you. And when they do that, they became like. So I think Microsoft is another company that does that, or EA that when they grab up these things they don't really know what they're dealing with, they screw them
Yeah,
up.
yeah, they
And it's
buy them
like,
because they're profitable, and then they just kind of try to squeeze more money out of it, and in the process,
and
they
people are like,
often misshape it, damage
it's
it,
already
damage their
dead.
brand.
Yeah, and it's like, but Nintendo, they're more invested in making a new Zelda. Yeah, as in like they make something. They put a lot of stuff around or in their IPs, and they put a lot of stuff in the in-house to make new IPs. Whereas Disney, the problem with Disney is that they are encroaching on other IPs that weren't made in-house, and then they don't
Yeah, they take
get on
stories. They
well.
take like the public domain characters. They're famously like the bread and butter characters. Your Disney's, your Snow Whites, your Cinderellas. They're
Cinderella's.
not theirs. They didn't make them. They just took them from the
Yeah,
public
that's a good
domain and
point.
used them. Whereas
Mm.
Nintendo
But
has made these characters. But
mm,
I mean, even from like the 90s, the 2000s, Mario wasn't really a character anymore. Link is a character. He has
mm,
personality, depth. He's quite bland as an individual, but the story and the setting's quite good. Samus, again, we know next to nothing about her. She's quite bland. But it's the action movie thing. You want a bland protagonist, so you can superimpose yourself onto it. That's why John Wick
and carry.
works so well, and Neo, phenomenal because you
Exactly.
could dream yourself into the place because Neo's like, well, it's so
Very,
bland. You could.
yes.
Um, but Mario has a lot of personality. Yeah,
Mm,
he's very expressive as a character. So he's gradually become a brand. Like slapping Mario's face on something. Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, Mario Paint by Numbers, Mario educational games. Mario is a brand, and as such, Nintendo were are very, very careful about how you use it. I mean, when you're making
mm,
a movie, especially using someone else's IP, they give you like a style guide or like a Bible, a massive tome of how the character's supposed to look with absolute specifics. Like Superman's cape, it's got to be this long, this wide, this kind of material.
mm.
The ancient properties. It's made of Kryptonian fabric, so it can do this. It can't do this. You can't mar the shield because of this and this and this. And there are strict rules when using someone else's IP. But the barrier tome is like that, man. It is, you could choke a donkey with it. You could kill a man if you dropped it off a building. It's a deadly weapon. There is so much you cannot do that often they just don't let you anymore. I mean, no one's
Mm,
letting anyone use Mario. Only Nintendo is allowed to use Mario. And it's the same
mm.
thing that Disney did. They had outside companies using their characters, but then they were like, no, 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 we just bring it all in house.
Exactly. Now,
And
here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, so sorry. What's different about that with the like Star Wars and what have you? When it comes to those IPs, I mean, I don't even know Nintendo. I think not Miyazaki, excuse me. Miyamoto. He said he wished he made Angry Birds, and I think, boy, if they got Angry Birds, that would have been, it would have lasted longer. I think Angry Birds has not really survived as well as it could have.
yeah, I think Angry
Mm,
Birds was a great microcosm of the time. Like it was the beginning
mm,
of like smartphones were still quite new. and
Mm.
gaming on a smartphone is such an expressive, interesting way. I thought when it first came out, I was really excited. I thought, oh, this could be a real evolution of gaming. Like you could control a character, you could have all kinds of different games, and you could be so expressive in how you play. But it just became a cesspit of monetization procedures.
But that's the
And
thing.
then it was so toxic, it was so radioactive, it infected main gaming. We get microtransactions from mobile games.
Right,
We
right,
get
exactly.
like
Yeah, that's where it came from, bro.
price tiers from mobile
Mm.
games. It was the point of the contraction point was Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 was the first game that had microtransactions, and the justification was, oh, well, we want to appeal to all gamers, and mobile gamers have microtransactions, so we wanted to make it comfortable for them. You're like,
Appeal?
this is
He's
a
talking about.
bleeping console game. What are you talking about? This is a narrative story. This is the third. This is the end of a trilogy of deeply violent, horrifying body horror narrative games. Yeah, the first one was basically Alien. The second one was Aliens. Led in a way of action, and the third one was just trash fire, which kind of keeps with the Aliens as well, because the third film was terrible. But
I'd say that people are saying, please, I really wish I could pay more money. That's what I'm used to.
yeah, oh yeah.
So-
If people want to pay more money, we have to allow them to pay more money. I bought the damn game. I bought the game. What do you mean pay more money? But it affected. It spread like a virus throughout the industry, and then so many anti-consumer practices started on the mobile phone, or from Microsoft.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's
And
just
that's the
let's go
yeah.
right back
Sorry.
to let's tie this in a bow.
Yeah.
We were talking about Nintendo's decisions. I want to go. We're going to watch a quick
Yeah.
clip, a quick
Just in
video. It's
case you
just
run
a
out of time. Yeah.
short, just to kind of talk about this. It's by Jacob Wheatley. He's a creator I really enjoy. I like his stuff. It's very funny. Um, Here we are.
Yes. Here we are.
Take
My
on,
man.
take on the Switch 2. But
We at Nintendo are updating our user agreement for the Switch 2. If you make any unauthorized modifications to your Switch 2, we will remotely deactivate your console so that you cannot play any more games. Whoa! I understand deactivating online play and the store with mods installed, but
yeah,
deactivating the console itself? People will own the Nintendo Switch 2. They should have rights to do what they want with it. Actually, they will not own the Switch 2. They will own the license to play the Switch 2, and that license can be revoked at any moment. What? You sound like the
Bastard.
brother of gaming. In addition to this, physical games will no longer be installed on the game cartridge. The game cartridge will only contain a key to install the game over the internet. Then what's the point of
Jeez
physical?
Louise.
People will be paying $80 for a key? Yes, exactly. A key to access the license to the game. So we won't own anything. This is insane.
I mean, that's.
You know what else is insane? Selling out Switch 2 pre-orders within an hour. We at Nintendo
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Communism, I tell
Quite true. Yeah,
I'm not going to be
but
happy. God damn it. I
you're
mean,
right. He's right. He's right. The gaming industry has changed over time. Anti-consumer practices. When I say anti-consumer, I do mean aggressive monetization, like nickel and diming people, microtransactions, multiple tiers of games, cutting off sections of game during production to sell post game. Just all of these things are ways of getting more money out of the same group. It feels like a casino, like the casino is set up to get more money out of people who are already in the casino. It's not about getting more people in. That would be lowering the price, offering more options. No. It's about getting more money from the same people. And it's very, very gambler adjacent practices. It's very, very,
absolutely.
what I call anti-consumer because it's not in the best interests of the consumer. It's in the interests of the company. But Nintendo was I felt above that. Like they were supposed to be Disney. They were supposed to be the family friendly, the good hearted one. They had the IP. And so we put up with some kind of them being quite litigious, quite lawyer friendly, protecting their IP because, Disney does it too. They have the brand and they are the family friendly guys. But now Nintendo are doing this. Now that they are potentially bricking people's consoles, they are locking people out of their own products.
Yeah.
And
Very communist, I tell you.
yeah, it's very, very it's giving off big game, big IP, big company vibes. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not the family friendly company anymore. This is real. This is the nasty side, and the idea that you don't just you have to buy If I bought a physical game, that's not a game. That's a code to access the game. Well, what
No,
about
don't
people who
buy the
have
game.
what about people who have poor internet connections? What about people who are traveling? I used to love buying the game while I was traveling, and I'm like, oh wow, I got something new to play with. You know, on my copy of Diablo 3, is a Switch version. I own Diablo 3 on the Switch, and I bought it in Australia. I was in Australia, it was on sale, I picked it up, I played that damn game to death. It was a great game. Loved it. Can't do that now because you need a Wi-Fi connection. You need to download the game, and then so you don't own the game. You own the license to give away the game, but you don't even own the console. Like the physical object you're holding, that's not yours. I bought it. I took it home. It's in my house, but it's not mine. It's theirs.
Yeah.
I just paid for the right to use it, and they can withdraw that right. That I, like
It's
I can't. I can't. My
I
brain.
think
Ow! Ow! My brain.
it's like they think that we're arcade owners and we're renting cabinets, and it's
Yes,
like,
exactly. It is absolutely that way. It's like, yo, we just have to put in more money, and then we don't take anything with us. We paying for the privilege of enjoying your product. We're not paying for the product, and
it's going to backfire, in my opinion. I think eventually something's going to give, and or another company's going to say, you know what, we're not going to do it, Nintendo. If they not happen, if Steam says, you know what, we're not going to do that, you own it, then Nintendo going to say, oops, you know what, tell you
well,
what, we have a,
Steam
yeah,
does that already. Steam do like I don't buy anything on Steam. I own the rights to. I own the licenses. Everything's on Steam.
uh,
Everything on Steam is a license. But funny you mentioned that. GOG is a much smaller platform. They're good old games. It's like a classic game platform, but it does have some more modern games. But they openly say, "Yo, you own this. When you buy it, it's yours. We'll give you everything you need. Even if we shut down, you have all the details on your computer. Once you download the launcher, it's yours. You do what the hell you want with it." So they are very modder friendly as well. And I think it might become a selling point that people are
yeah,
like
for GOG.
companies can sell. Yo, you do own this, but they are going to be few and far between because this is the new
Yeah.
norm now. Steam did it, Xbox is doing it, Nintendo's doing it. This is the way of the world, and it's frustrating because I'm scared that we will lose some of the creativity, the variety that comes with
Mm.
game creation. We will lose the hacks. We will lose the
It,
mods. We will lose the cheats. We will lose all this whole realm, this whole division of our passion.
mm.
Will be lost because it'll all be micromanaged to death by a company that doesn't want anyone to hurt their brand.
The only thing that can save it, I think, is that, like I said earlier, if Nintendo start paying the people back in some way, giving them some sort of an incentive. But other than that, I think it may just be like the Wii U, like a cautionary tale situation where they have to come back with a vengeance to the next generation. But it depends how long this bloody generation lasts if it's dominated by that.
If they do this and it blows up in their face, yeah, maybe we'll all learn from it. Maybe it won't be a thing that happens, or maybe there will be new laws introduced that say, once you pay for it, you own it. But I guess it's a time will
Ah,
tell situation.
yeah, it's the
Time will tell.
latest.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll back to some more regular videos. It's been a busy period recently, but we'll be back soon. And until then, peace.
Peace. Thanks, Game of that. See you, people.